What's up, everybody? The accountant is back with another best ball fantasy football draft on Underdog. We have the 11 slot. Thanks for joining. This is a fast puppy. We're trying to turn $5 into 200,000 for first place. Second place gets 100,000. Subscribe to the channel. You can be my very first subscriber. Hit the like button. We're doing these drafts all preseason long, staying up to date with all the camp news. All I do is pretty much fantasy football this time of year. Last year, I came in second place in a Underdog best ball league, cashed out a pretty decent amount of money. The year before that was my first year doing best ball. I came in top 10 in a tournament. So two years in a row, I have positive ROI going for 3 years in a row. Someone just takes Christian McCaffrey at the 3 spot. There's quite a few people in this one without badges. Maybe could get a soft room. I don't mind the 11 slot this year. Could look to go double running back. Sometimes I take A.J. Brown in the second round here. Don't mind that. Haven't done much of like Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, or CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown. James Cook is someone I'm trying to up my exposure to. He's got the I'm going to take him here. Although I feel like I'm actually going to take Genty because I feel like Cook has a better chance of making it back to me, even though he most likely won't. But like I said, I've been trying to up my exposure to James Cook because I want to be overweight the field. He's got the Dolphins. Week 17. Yeah, he goes off the board, which is too bad, but that's okay. And week 17 is when the money is made, so we like those matchups. Genty has a good matchup as well in week 17 against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go Saquon here. So I like that start. Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley. I also most likely need to up my exposure to Saquon as well. I have definitely over 20% exposure to Ashton Genty. So just adding to the Ashton Genty bet. Last year I had him on one of my redraft teams, unfortunately. But we saw the upside against Houston last year, one of the best defenses in the league. He just went off for like 50 fantasy points. Let's look that game up and see how many points he actually got. So he had 188 total yards with 2 touchdowns against arguably the best defense in the league. This year, he has a way better situation with a new coaching staff, new quarterback, and a new offensive line. So he's one of my favorite picks of the first round. I love when I can get him with James Cook. It's happened a few times for me. Or like one of the elite wide receivers. Love going Ashton Genty, Saquon, or Ashton Genty, A.J. Brown, or Ashton Genty, Chase Brown. Just feel good about the pick this year. So I just prefer other people in this range. I'm going to go Ladd here. Love getting exposure to the Chargers offense. McConkey showed us what he can do his rookie season. And hopefully they don't sign Keenan Allen there or anyone else. Could look to take Javonte Williams here and go 3 early running backs, which I might. I'm actually going to go Cam Scatterbo here and get some different uniqueness. I usually do go Javonte Williams there in like the past 3 teams. When I have gone running back early, I do take Javonte Williams here. So I just want to kind of mix it up and go Cam Scatterbo. It's good to be mixing up your teams, especially when you're maxing out tournaments. You don't want to be taking the same guys in the same spot over and over again, no matter how much you like them. Like because I like Ashton Genty so much, I change up who I take the second pick. Sometimes I'll take Ashton Genty in the fifth pick, sixth pick, anywhere after the top four guys go. Joe Burrow goes off the board to the Chase Higgins team. I like the way this guy's drafting. Chase T. Higgins followed up by two running backs, paired up with Joe Burrow, although he reached on Joe Burrow. You just want to be building some teams like this. I have a few like this, and then a few with like CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott. This guy went CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams. It's just an easier bet to make betting on one offense, especially when we're trying to beat, say, 400 teams in a final. You want to be going after certain offenses that can just explode. I'm on the clock. I'm going to be taking a wide receiver here. I'm going to go Christian Watson. Just take the highest guy based off ADP. He's a guy that could just crush it in Green Bay if he stays healthy. He catches long touchdown passes. We saw him come back from an ACL injury last year and just pretty much dominate. Going to follow that up with another guy just who's also highest ADP. Really like this pick this year. Again, with all my wide receivers, we've seen them do it before. Brian Thomas and Ladd McConkey are both kind of in the same boat. They had really good rookie seasons. And then last year, for whatever reason, maybe injury with BTJ and a lack of target share for Ladd McConkey, but they just kind of fell off in their sophomore season. But I still have confidence in both of them and their talent, their ability, and their offenses. So I like these picks, especially when I'm getting Brian Thomas Jr. in the 6th round. And the only reason he really goes this late is because he has a crowded wide receiver room, as well as he didn't do great last year. But if he was like the clear number one in that offense, he would be going where Ladd McConkey's going. And he definitely is going to have those boom weeks regardless. So in best ball, where you don't have to pick and choose when you're starting and sitting players, BTJ is just like a no-brainer pick for me. This guy follows it up with Tucker Kraft. Not really worrying about ADP, which I do think that Tucker Kraft could start climbing up draft boards. He was pretty dominant last year before his injury, on his way to a big breakout season. That offense loses two key players in Romeo Doubs and Wicks, so it opens up looks for other guys. He partners it up with Jaden Reed. So yeah, I like this guy's team so far without the badge. Still drafting well. I don't see any teams. We have one team that has only gone one running back, but that's not really weird at all. He got hero running back, follows it up with another running back, and Rico Dowdle. So no team has really been crazy so far. I'm going to go ahead and get my stack here in Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey. Chargers. I'm very high on the Chargers this year with Mike McDaniel there. Justin Herbert hopefully is healthier this season. He was dealing with a few injuries last year, playing through some. I'm just going to add to my wide receiver room here and take Courtland Sutton. I think he could really have a good touchdown year this year because of Jalen Waddle taking attention off of him. His whole career, from my understanding, he's been going, especially with Denver, like he's been going up against the number one DBs on other teams, where now he's probably going to be getting the second DB. So he could just have games where he has multi-week touchdowns, in my opinion. So I think he's falling down draft boards, even though he's still a good player. He's shown he can stay healthy. Really like that offense as well. As long as Bo Nix stays healthy, I think Cortland Sutton has a good season. So a recap of my team so far: I got Justin Herbert, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, Cam Scatterbu, Ladd McConkey, Christian Watson, Brian Thomas, Cortland Sutton. I really like this running back room so far. I mean, that's pretty easy considering my top 3 picks were running backs, but I just like the way they're kind of mixed together. Like Cam Scatterbu can have those boom weeks. Saquon has a high floor, and Ashton Genty also has a high floor with boom potential. So they all have boom potential, and 2 have high floors. And then it's not like I'm weak at wide receiver at this point. If Christian Watson stays healthy, he easily could finish in the top 10 for wide receivers. I mean, we've already seen BTJ finish in the top 12 for wide receivers. So a lot of quarterbacks are going off the board here. I'm going to take Harold Fannin. I think he's being slept on. He had a great rookie year for tight ends. I'm back on the clock. I'm going to go Wan'Dale Robinson here to give myself, one, I like to pick, and 2, it gives me exposure to another quarterback that I can take later on and stack with him in Cam Ward. Because a lot of the quarterbacks that I wanted went. Jackson Dart, I was going to stack with Cam Scatterbu. Bo Nix, I was going to try to stack with Cortland Sutton. So now I got to shift gears, which is the secret to being good at best ball. You cannot get frustrated. Always have to have a backup plan. Quarterbacks really flew off the board. That's the problem with drafting, or like the con to drafting at the turns, is sometimes these runs can punish you. Where if you're in the middle, you can get your quarterback when you see the runs happening, like this guy did when he took Bo Nix. So most likely I will be taking Cam Ward if he's available at one of my next 2 picks, considering how quickly quarterbacks are going. Baker Mayfield's still on the board. I could take him and backstack him. Don't mind doing that with like a Ted Hurst or a McMillan. Could also take Shaheed and stack him up with Sam Darnold is an option. But if Baker's here, I'm definitely taking him. Not likely, though. Baker was another one that was dealing with injuries last year. I believe in the offense. There he goes. I believe in the weapons that he's got. So I think Baker is a little bit undervalued this year. He does get the Rams in week 17, though, which is not ideal. But you don't need him as your first quarterback. You can take him as your third quarterback, second quarterback. I'm going to get Keaton Mitchell and continue the stack with Justin Herbert. He's a guy who his passing ability has not been recognized yet in the NFL. He caught passes in college. I saw something online where he actually like had just as good of a receiving production as Devon Achane in college. So I really think Mike McDaniel could get a lot out of him this year. We know he wanted him badly. He had wanted posters around the office for Keaton Mitchell. So I have a decent amount of exposure to him. He's definitely my highest exposure on anyone on LAC simply because of how cheap he is. He's in this round, like this tier as well, where it's like he's one of the last running backs that I truly believe is going to like for sure have a workload in like Woody Marks, Spears, like Pacheco, I'm not interested in. Algiers on a bad offense and like touchdown dependent. Charbonnet's injured, handcuff, and then it starts like getting into the handcuffs. So yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite clicks. And I got the Cam Ward stack. Love that stack with Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm high on Tennessee's offense this year. They made some good moves with their receiving room, giving Cam Ward a deep receiving room this year. Second year in the NFL. Last year, the offensive line couldn't protect him. They got a new offensive line as well. Added some pieces to that. New coaching staff. And you just get them so cheap. Like Cam Ward typically goes after Malik Willis just because he has rushing upside. I just feel like Cam Ward's more likely to like win a championship for me than like a Malik Willis personally because he could just be really, really good. He was the number 1 overall pick. So I could just take one of these quarterbacks to help my advance rate and like my floor of my team. But I don't really know if I want to. I most likely actually would take Gaston to get another stack of LAC. Could also get Trey Harris. That's what I'll do. I'll get some more Chargers pieces to this team. Yeah. Honestly, I could just go ahead and grab Trey Harris too. I might. I just might. Although Sam Darnold is now officially 17 picks past his ADP. So this is a question. I feel like I do have enough Chargers pieces where I'm going to go ahead and take Sam Darnold here. He's 17 picks past ADP, and he gets the Panthers in week 17. And I don't mind that matchup. And he's just someone that can help this team advance. Like if Cam Ward starts slow in the new offense, Sam Darnold picks up the pieces for him. And then maybe Cam Ward comes on strong in the end. There are some weapons I can stack Darnold with as well. Let's see. AJ Barner's still available. Could stack him with Cooper Kupp. Halani could have some receiving work this year. Torrey Horton has a nose for the end zone. Could grab him with like my last pick. So yeah. Definitely some back stacks that are now some options for me. So my team so far is Justin Herbert, Cam Ward, Sam Darnold. Really like this quarterback room. I got Ashton Jeanty, Saquon Barkley, Cam Scatterbill, and Keaton Mitchell. I'll be looking to add one more running back, most likely Halani with this team. He fits in well. Then I have McConkey, Christian Watson, BTJ, Cortland Sutton, and Wan'Dale Robinson. So what I'm thinking is I'll be taking one more running back and the rest wide receivers. So I'll finish with a 3-5-8-2 most likely, unless I see a tight end that I really like. But I like this tight end room, Fannin and Gaston. And like to win the tournament, when I already go 3 quarterbacks, I feel like I should just go with 2 tight ends to give myself the best chance of actually winning the tournament rather than placing like 12th or getting knocked out in the week 15. I just think having that extra wide receiver gives me a better shot, especially when I didn't take a wide receiver with one of my top picks. Like I would feel better with going 7 wide receivers if this was AJ Brown. So I'm going to go little Zachariah Branch here. He has a unique skill set. Very small, shifty guy. I feel like could have some weeks. Definitely, I don't think he's going to be a 0 this year. So it's someone that I like to add late in the draft. Don't really want Cooper Kupp. It is hard, I will say, to not take Terrence Ferguson here. But I'm going to resist because I have a lot of him. All right, I'll take Holani here. Just make sure I get him with my Sam Darnold piece. And then I will look to add 2 more wide receivers, one being Allen. He's a great route runner. I like his film, and he also plays the Chargers in week 17. So I want that correlation just in case it's a boom week. I could look to take my last 2 wide receivers as both Kansas City guys, which I don't mind that strategy at all, in Tyquan Thornton and Cyrus Allen. They both could go off different weeks. Like I said, they play the Chargers in week 17. Who knows if Xavier Worthy can stay healthy this year? And I do have a lot of exposure to Xavier Worthy, so I think it's good to mix up the Kansas City guys. Patrick Mahomes could definitely be on a revenge tour. And like I feel like it's rare for any team to really have these 2 guys. So it gives me uniqueness as well. The other option is taking Torrey Horton, pairing him up with Sam Darnold. I do like the Jalen Noel pick as well. And he would fit nice in this receiving room considering he has a week 8 bye week and no one else does on my team. We'll see if they both last until my picks. I have been taking more Cyrus Allen than Tyquan Thornton. I just see the upside is higher. It's like if Tyquan Thornton was good, in my opinion, like we should have seen it last year when Xavier Worthy went down, which we saw like 1 game. But he does have boom potential. 19 receptions for 438 yards is kind of insane. I'm going to make sure I get Cyrus Allen because I like him more than Tyquan Thornton. I don't know if I do want to make this pick though. I'm not a big fan of him. And I don't want to like eat a zero with his team. And Jalen Noel is just staring at me. Horton is still here. I just continue to make this click when he's available at my last pick. So I'm just going to stick with my gut. Take Noel. I have the Cyrus Allen bet with the week 17 correlation. Let's get into another draft and then I'll go over my team. So I went with a 3-5-8-2 build. Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, McConkey, Cam Scatterbu, Christian Watson, BTJ, Herbert, Sutton, Fannin, Wandale Robinson, Mitchell, Ward, Gaston, Darnold, Branch, Halani, Cyrus Allen, and Noel. I like it. Let's go to the new draft. We are 7 picks away at pick number 10. So my plan here is to go James Cook. But sometimes you have a plan and everything changes. We will see if that's the case. He's just been so efficiently good the past few years, just getting better every single year. He did have a lot of touches last year, which is concerning because he doesn't have a huge frame. But I'm going to keep riding him until he proves me wrong. And I like his week 17 matchup, like I said. He's got the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to pair him up with Chase Brown, another guy who's just the past 2 years has scored over 10 total touchdowns between his rushing and receiving. We know Cincinnati is a great offense. He had a dip last year when Browning was the quarterback after Joe got hurt, but as soon as Joe Flacco came in, he was crushing it again. And now we know Joe Flacco is there just in case anything happens to Joe Burrow. Chase Brown could be bulletproof in 2026. One guy I don't mind taking just because of a Chase Brown injury is not P. Ryan, but Taj Brooks. Brooks did really well in college, and he's just like a big bowling ball back. And I think if anything happened to Chase Brown, Taj Brooks would be getting most of the looks, not P. Ryan. P. Ryan's like 30-something years old. I just don't see them giving him too big of a workload, and Taj Brooks is a good back. So he's a guy I mix in with like my last pick sometimes, especially if I go Joe Burrow without Chase Brown. So I'll be looking to take some wide receivers here with my next few picks, most likely. Could pair Josh Allen up with James Cook if I wanted to. But I am going to pair up T. Higgins with Chase Brown. If Josh Allen falls to me, I probably will take him and get the Buffalo-Cincinnati bet going. 2 offenses that I liked betting on. Could easily be the top 2 offenses in the league. Let's see what Tyler does. Does he take Josh Allen? Is he going to auto pick Josh Allen? Looks like he might have. That's okay. I'm going to take Waddle here. Really like the Waddle pick this year. Could definitely be one of the best talents in the league. Just hasn't been in the right system. And now he gets one of the best offenses in the league with one of the best coaches. So I like having him on my team. often goes on the left side of the board as well. So could have some uniqueness with that, taking him a little bit earlier than ADP. Denver also plays Buffalo week 16. So I got the correlation going there with James Cook and Waddle. So because they have Baltimore, I could look to take Lamar Jackson if he falls and get that correlation going. You can backstack Lamar Jackson easily with like Surratt or Rashad Bateman. And you also can take a naked Lamar because of his rushing upside. And 2 years ago, he had 434 total fantasy points. So he's like the most clear bet for positive regression. I just don't. I mix these guys in, but like, I don't know. I just feel like this group of running backs is like so close to the guys that go like down here in upside and just like risk. Like, we don't know if Tootin's going to be the guy. We also don't know if Blake Corum's going to be the guy. They both could end up being the guy. So yeah, I'm going to go Lamar Jackson over Tootin. I do like taking Tootin sometimes, but I'm going to be honest. I don't love his film and his vision in his film. They bring in Chris Rodriguez, who's a good running back. And like, I just don't know how I feel about. I'm definitely not taking him over Lamar when I have Bengals in my lineup already. And now I get a different piece of the Jags offense. Or no, I won't take Joe Burrow because I already took Lamar. So I'll take BTJ and wait on my second quarterback. So like, that was the other option. I could have went Tootin, Joe Burrow. But I like BTJ as my third wide receiver, especially when I go to early running backs. Like I said, I think people are kind of hyping Tootin up a little bit. Like, he did score touchdowns last year, but like I said, he might not even be getting the goal line work. I think he's going to be good for best ball, don't get me wrong, but like, I also think Blake Corum is going to be good for best ball. I think RJ Harvey was good last year from a fantasy standpoint. Ramondre Stevenson was pretty good last year from a fantasy standpoint. So like, I'd rather just take someone like Lamar and then take one of these guys later. Let me know in the comments what you think about Tootin. Also, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You can be my first subscriber. Going to be doing this all preseason long. Hopefully looking back on my teams when I win the $200,000 in the Fast Puppy. We're going for first place. Last year, we got second place in a big tournament. Got a pretty decent prize. We're back for more. I'm going to go Tucker Kraft. He's someone I've been wanting to get more exposure to. I could see him climbing up draft boards. He's young, and he was pretty dominant before his injury. So, and he's in a good offense. So yeah, I like to pick. Could pair Trevor Lawrence up with Lamar Jackson since I have Brian Thomas Jr. Could also try to get like a Bo Nix though later. Could take Jaden Reed with Tucker Kraft and then try to get Jordan Love later. I have a lot of options. I'm going to go ahead and again get the Trevor Lawrence BTJ stack. I actually didn't do that on my last team, but this is one of my favorite stacks, to be honest. Trevor Lawrence has rushing upside as well. I think he had like 8 rushing touchdowns last year. So I'm definitely done at quarterback unless some like crazy value falls. And I have a pretty much an elite tight end, so I'm going to need to be like hammering out wide receivers, running backs through these middle rounds, and then wait on tight end for sure. My second tight end. All right, I'm coming back up on the clock. Like I said, I'm going to be hammering out some wide receivers and running backs. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this Jacksonville stack and get Jacoby Myers. Partnered up with Trevor Lawrence. And then I'll be taking a running back most likely here. All right, yeah, I'll take Jonathan Brooks. He has tremendous upside. He's young, coming off 2 ACL injuries. I really liked his film coming out of Texas. And Chuba Hubbard got beat out last year by Rico Dowdle at his position. So Jonathan Brooks could just do the same thing and just beat Chuba Hubbard out and be the starting running back in Carolina. And I'm getting him 9 picks past ADP. A wide receiver here. Could look to take Stephon Diggs or Rodriguez and pair him up with Trevor Lawrence and make the Jacksonville bet with my Cincinnati bet, which I definitely don't mind doing. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I like my running back room. I got a ceiling guy with a floor guy. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Tutin's film. I think he's explosive, but I think he lacks vision where Chris Rodriguez does not. So I could just see him getting most of the goal line looks and Tutin getting like more of the receiving stuff. So I think he'll have his he'll definitely have his touchdown weeks where he's hitting my lineup. Could look to take a falling Ferguson or get really crazy and take Travis Hunter. But no, I'm not going to do that. It's too many Jags on one team. So yeah, I'm going to stop at 2 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks. So this team will most likely be like a 2-7-7-2 or a 2-6-8-2. Probably a 2-6-8-2 since I went 2 running backs with my first 2 picks. And you only need to start 2 running backs. So that's what I'm thinking. 2-6-8-2. Like I said, plans always change. You got to be flexible in the mindset of anything can happen. Who knows what these guys are going to take with their picks? Who knows what values are going to fall? I really like the Denzel Boston pick this year. He's been getting sniped earlier and earlier, though, I've noticed. So I don't really like that. And I think once training camp starts, he's someone who could start going like right next to his rookie counterpart, Case Concepcion. Yeah, I think he could start going in the 11th round for sure. So yeah, I'll be looking to add him to this team before that happens, which I do have quite a bit of him, probably like 20% exposure. So that's good news. Thank goodness he did not snipe me. He's being sniped from me so often lately. Very frustrating. But I get him this time, right at ADP. I'm going to take Woody Marks here, getting him, what is that, 16 picks after ADP? And this tier right here, like after Spears, it starts to get really ugly with running back. So happy to add Woody Marks to the team. Definitely should have a receiving role in that offense. There was like some news that he was learning the route tree. So definitely should have a role, regardless of how much they give to David Montgomery, who's not a young back. He's like 29 years old. So who knows if he can make it through the whole season. I'm up next. I'm going to take Malik Washington. Should definitely not be a 0 this year, considering they have really not many other options in that offense. Don't take him too much, just because it's not really an offense I want to be making bets on. I think people may be sleeping on Alvin Kamara as well. Like Travis Etienne comes in there, and people are just assuming that Alvin Kamara is not going to have a role at all, which I don't see being the case, considering he still could be a decent receiving back. And it's not like Travis Etienne is some like awesome running back like Jonathan Taylor or someone or Bijan. So yeah, my running back room though seems pretty deep with James Cook, Chase Brown, Jonathan Brooks, Rodriguez, Woody Marks, Alvin Kamara. Have two solid tight ends, two good quarterbacks. Just need to land the plane with two wide receivers that Elijah Surratt goes. Rashad Bateman's still here though, who scored 9 touchdowns 2 years ago. So I'll take Bateman. I have a decent amount of Elijah Surratt as well. So I'm fine with mixing in some Bateman with Lamar Jackson and the Week 17 correlation with my Cincinnati Bengals. And then I'll take another wide receiver who I am confident will not give me a 0 with one of these two guys. And then the tiebreaker for me this time, Jalen will win because none of my guys have a Week 8 bye week. just edging out because of the Week 10 with Jalen Waddle and Wicks. So that is the tiebreaker this time. Thank you all for joining me. Here's my squad. I got Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, James Cook, Chase Brown, Jonathan Brooks, Chris Rodriguez, Woody Marks, Alvin Kamara, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, BTJ, Jacoby Myers, Denzel Boston, Malik Washington, Rashad Bateman, Jalen Knoll, Tucker Kraft, and Jake Ferguson. Until next time, the accountant's out. Have a good day. Remember, subscribe to the channel. You can be my first subscriber and follow me all the way to winning the Fast Puppy. See you guys later.